Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Raging Tempest was released in February of 2017 and introduced the Zoodiac and Windwitch archetypes to the TCG, as well as including a plethora of support for a bunch of archetypes already existing. Whereas Windwitch is very powerful and yet small mini archetype, most notoriously usually summoning out a nigh unbeatable Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Zoodiacs were a powerful and extremely consistent archetype consisting of Beast Warriors, and responsible for being one of the quite few Tier 0 decks in all of Yu-Gi-Oh's history. Finally, it also included a specific card, That Grass Looks Greener. Now, breaking the mold for 40 cards always being the best way to play Yu-Gi-Oh! For maximum consistency, allowing for mass milling from your deck. Guys and gals, welcome back to Historic Yu-Gi-Oh! A learning journey now with Raging Tempest, and I apologize in advance, I'm recovering from being sick and my throat is still, like, you can probably hear it in my voice. I'm not completely there. I completely lost my voice yesterday, so that's why I still sound like this. But regardless, I wanted to now do this deck breakdown. And I'm recording this after we've actually done the games, but I won't talk about any results or anything like that in here. I'm simply talking about what was my idea when building the deck, and I gotta say here, I think I've mentioned it in I'm gonna sneeze. Or not. I think I've mentioned it in one of the previous episodes that I've been looking forward to this. I think this is one of my favorite decks that I have built for the series thus far. And you can probably see why. It's a Weebfox pile, which is what I'll call a deck that has 1, 2, 3, 4, I guess, 5 different archetypes all mixed into one. And the thing about this format and the set is just, it probably works. Let's take a look at the deck and see what we're working with. I'll try to not strain my voice, so I won't talk about the stuff that we've obviously already seen, other than on very surface level. But the new stuff, the big one being Zoodiacs, one of the most powerful archetypes ever released, thanks to the power of shit like Trident and Broadbull, alongside Rapier being able to just indefinitely get you stuff back. So Zoodiacs, the gimmick there is that their Xyz monsters can be summoned by using a Zoodiac monster you control with different name as material. So you can summon Trident with any other Zoodiac name instead of using the 4 level 4 monsters. And then all Zoodiac monsters attached to it as material are what give them their set lines. That's common for all the Zoodiacs. And then, like, the Zoodiac main deck monsters have different effects based on being attached and detached. And Rapier on normal summon lets you send a Zoodiac card from your deck to a graveyard, which you can recur then with other stuff, as we'll cover later. But the important part here, once per day, you can detach an Xyz material from this card to spell summon a Zoodiac Rapier from a hand or deck. This being limited means that it's essentially useless, but it's still a Zoodiac name that you can run. But yeah, for our format, obviously, incredibly good. Gets us more Zoodiacs, we can then use them to make other Xyz to extend our plays. Very good. Then we just have a couple other Zoodiac names here. Thorblade, normal special summon, gives you a draw if you discard a Zoodiac card, and then gives it a piercing, the Xyz that you summon with it. And then Whiptail, as a quick effect, you can target a Beast Warrior Xyz monster you control to attach this to it as material from your hand or field. And then this on a material on an Xyz monster means that you banish the opponent's monster after damage calculation. But we care about that. Names is what we care about here. Comprise is here to give us access to Tagaton, Bork, and Terratrop. I don't need to talk to you about that line. We're also running the Windwitch engine, which is also new here, which plays with these really well, because obviously Windwitches lock you into winds, but Speed Wars honestly, obviously don't care about that. And what the Windwitches do, basically, you have an empty port, you summon Ice Spell. On Ice Spell being summoned, you can spell summon a Windwitch monster from your deck, but it cannot be attributed, and then it locks you into spell summoning a monster from the extra deck, other than level 5 or higher wind monsters. And then on the summon, you get to burn your opponent for a little bit. Then using this, you bring out Glass Spell. It being normal spell summon lets you add a Windwitch monster from your deck to your hand, except Glass Spell, and then locks you into winds for the rest of the turn. And then this adds you Snowball. Now you have Ice Spell and Glass Spell on your board. Snowball, if you control 2 or more wind monster and no non-wind monster, you can spell summon this card from your hand. So you just special this, and then a wind synchro monster that was summoned using this card as synchro material cannot be destroyed by your opponent card effects. And what is this whole thing achieves? Ice Spell and Glass Spell make a level 7. That level 7 is Winter Bell. Winter Bell, once per turn, you can target a Windwitch monster in your grave to once again burn your opponent for a little bit. Doesn't matter. The on-field effect doesn't matter. It's a level 7 synchro. We summon this, and then using that and Snowball, bada bing, makes us a level 8. That specifically needs an on-tuner synchro monster, that being Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon. And now what you've achieved is a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon that is unable to be destroyed by your opponent's card effects. And obviously it can negate monster effects. It beats over basically all big things. It's essentially a towers at that point. It's immensely powerful. And obviously all of this stuff locking you into wins, it's still fine. If what you get out of a turn in what 2017, early 2017, is a basically non-indestructible Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, I'll take it. Give out 2 MSTs here. Triple Air Grass looks greener, which is here to complement our entire Infernoid engine. I've played Infernoids a couple of times at this point. You know what they do. You can summon them from your hand or graveyard while the monsters you control have a total levels of 8 or lower, and then they have different effects when you banish stuff, and then like you contribute monsters to activate the big monsters effects, or for the other ones you banish cards from your opponent's graveyard. But most of this get you bodies on the field directly from the grave, and they can be summoned from the grave as well, which is why they go really well with grass. So that's like the Infernoid engine here explained, and also since we're going to be putting a lot of stuff into the grave and banishing things, grass like Fairy Tale Snow just perfectly works here. We just have a walking Book of Moon because we're gonna have a bunch of stuff in the grave. Then for the rest of the stuff here, Fusion Recycling Plant was here as a was this a name? Oh, I think this was literally to, there was an idea for this. Oh yeah, a Fusion Recycling, I remember. Fusion Recycling Plant is here to give us access to name Fusion, which gives us Future Fusion, and Future Fusion with Infernoid Tierra. It lists Onunku, Deviadu, and then one or more Infernoid monsters, which means that we activate Future Fusion, and on the next turn we can literally send our entire deck of Infernoids to the grave as materials for Tierra. We don't care about the Tierra summon itself that much, so if Future Fusion gets dealt with, it's fine. But being able to bin like 15 cards of Future Fusion of Infernoids is super nice, and it's basically a secondary way if we can't get to grass. It's a secondary way for us to mill a lot. This is mostly here because obviously we're never getting access to grass again. I wouldn't be surprised if Jeexx also wants to play grass. So if Jeexx is also on grass, obviously our grass won't be as great. So in that case, I will side out the 3 grass instead of throwing the triple Future Fusion to essentially do the same thing, just with a 1 turn delay. Then we have Zoodiac Barrage. Target a face-up card you control, destroy it if you do spell summon a Zoodiac monster from your deck. This is a continuous spell. You can just pop itself, and when if this card is destroyed by a card effect, and so the graveyard, you can target a Zoodiac Xyz monster you control, attach this from your graveyard to that as Xyz material. The important part is that this card alone gets you any Zoodiac from your deck. Unfortunately, Rat Pier's send is only on normal, but still getting you into a Rat Pier means you can get another Rat Pier means you can do the whole Zoodiac spiel. So that's what Barrage is here to achieve. Double Zoodiac sign. Gives all Zoodiac monster you control 300 attack and defense. Monster your opponent controls can attack a face-based warrior type monster you control for attacks, except the one with the highest attack. And then once per turn, if Zoodiac monster you control would be destroyed by a card effect, you can instead destroy a monster in your hand or field instead of a Zoodiac monster. It's neat. And then the combo is here to basically reshuffle Zoodiacs, because you can basically the field effect basically just gives you a monster from a deck as a material. And it doesn't matter. What matters here and why this is really neat to play with something like grass, where there's a likelihood of milling it. In our grave, doing either place turn except turn this was sent to a graveyard, you can banish this card from your grave, target 5 Zoodiac cards in your grave with different names. This is why I've been also talking about like the names. You shuffle them in the deck and draw one. Basically, Rat Pier, Thorough Play, Whiptail, Broad Ball, and Trident, and gets you a draw. And then obviously gets you a bunch of Zoodiacs back on the deck that you can then use. Very neat. And the Void Feast, send a Void spell from your hand or face the field to graveyard to spell summon up to 3 Infernoid monsters from your deck, whose total level is exactly equal to 8, ignoring the summoning conditions. This is also why we're playing basically all of them, and also have a single copy of Antra in the side, just to be flexible with Void Feast. But there's also a likelihood that I might side out of maybe a copy or 2 of this in favor of some of our other stuff in our side, because for once we actually have a pretty strong side deck. We have the Antra, we have the Future Fusion as I explained earlier, we have MST here, third one as well, if Jeexx on a really heavy back row strategy. Then we have a Foolish Burial Goods for aforementioned Zoodiac combo, as well as obviously can also send stuff like our Voids. Not really what we want to be doing, but if we want to thin the deck for whatever reason, then sure. But only one copy, because more often than not, like, we just want to throw a combo with this. Foolish Burial, because obviously all of our Infernoids we like having in the grave. Same thing with like Snow. Really neat. A triple Gamma Seal, just to get rid of stuff like, well, the aforementioned Indestructible Crystal Wing. And then finally we have Monster Gate, because obviously we want to be milling our deck with stuff like grass, stuff like Future Fusion. This is a third way of ours to fill our grave. This is basically like, if I'm most likely going to side into, if I need to get rid of grass, then I'm getting rid of grass and siding into both of these. If I don't need to get rid of grass, I'm probably just throwing the Monster Gates in. I don't need all 3. I feel like that's a little bit of an overkill, and we want to still be using most of our themes. As for the extra deck though, the Zoodiac cards are probably pretty standard ratio here. So Trident is the one that pops. Broad Ball is the one that gets you stuff from the deck to your hand. Beast Warriors, that can be normal summoned or set. Then we have Tiger Border. Tiger Border gets you stuff back from the grave. Basically, you can, if you already have an Xyz monster established, then you can use Tiger Mortar to get something from the grave and attach it to something else. This mostly here that we can attach something like Rat Pier to get another Rat Pier once again on the board and extend. And then Borbo is here mostly just as an additional name and something that we can go into if we've exhausted the other stuff. But more often than not, like, you want to go Broad Ball, you search for something, you go Tiger Mortar, you want to end on Trident, because Trident obviously being a pop on your opponent's turn is very nice. And then we want to have something for our Speed Voice to do. We have 2 copies and 2 different targets here. We have Levier the Sea Dragon, which most importantly is a wind. So if we have something like a perfect turn, which would be like the Windwitches and the Speedroid stuff, then we can go into these and then also establish a Levier and maybe get something out like that. The issue with Levier is that most of the stuff that we're banishing is our Infernoids, and obviously at that point, if we're windlocked, we can't summon them out. But it is still something to consider. And also, like, just this is really nice to have, because most of the time, like when we're banishing first, like we're banishing our low level Infernoid, so this being able to get those on the field is obviously very good. And then these just give us pops. And then if we need a little bit more punching power, then we can go chronological chrononaut, which targeted for an attack. You can do this one to make it indestructible by the battle and redirect the damage to your opponent instead, which is neat. It's nothing crazy, but currently the pool of 3s that we have here isn't crazy, so this is the best that we got. Then finally, we have Sea Monster Theseus here. He's there to give us monster, obviously for Monster Gate. Then we have Windwitch Crystal Bell, where the crystal here actually gives us access to Crystal Wind Synchro Dragon, which is very neat. And then the Tiara I did explain earlier. If we're summoning this, like, we most likely would summon it with like 5 copies. But if we're like, if we just get the Future Fusion line, we just want to be sending literally everything. So, but Tiara, we don't really care about hitting the field. If it does, then it's a cool boss monster. But if it doesn't, that's perfectly fine. We care about the second form here mostly. So we then have infinite Infernoid recursion as well as Snow if we need it. But that was a really lengthy deck breakdown. I do apologize. Like I said, I wanted to not stream my voice, but like I said, this I think is one of, if not the single coolest deck that I built throughout this series. So that's why I wanted to talk about all aspects of it in excruciatingly extensive detail. And we're under 2 months away from hitting the Link era, so that's pretty exciting as well. Thank you for watching the deck breakdown. Hopefully you enjoyed Jeexx as well, and I will see you in the dueling zone afterwards.
Okay, so we're doing Raging Tempest, one of the biggest mistakes that Konami has probably ever made, I would say. One of the worst core sets ever released. It's like, holy, how did you make a set as annoying as this? You have Zoodiacs in here, you have Grass in here, you have Infernoid support in here. And let me see. There's a bunch of archetypes in here that you have new Subterra support, but that doesn't really matter. That's not really relevant. There's new Performapal support. There's the Crystal Wing package in the form of just Windwitches, which means that every deck in the game can now just play Crystal Wing from one card in hand. Horrible set. And after this, Zoo just takes over the world. Zoo just like controls the entire game for the next year or so. And it's not very fun. But Zoos themselves were an archetype that I was kind of excited for when I originally saw them back in like, is it 2016, 2017? I don't remember anymore. But like originally when, yeah, 2017. 2016 was when the Japanese set came out. The OCG set came out. I saw Ratpier, then known as Mulmorant, that card was insane. Like this card was so broken. And I was so interested to see where this deck goes. And needless to say, it went places. Places that most people don't really like. Like, I'm playing DDD. I was gonna play Zoo. I was gonna play stuff other than like DDD. But I saw there was one card for DDD in this entire set. And I just went like, screw it. We're gonna play 15 card side specifically for DDD. And we're gonna just play whatever in the main deck. So we have Lamia. Lamia has the effect of you can send a card from your hand to a hand or field to the graveyard that has a DD or Dark Contract name, and you can spell summon from the graveyard. And Necro Slime, if it's in the graveyard, you can fusion summon DDD fusion monster from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials mentioned on it from your graveyard, including this card. Swirl Slime, if it's in your hand, you can fusion summon DDD fusion monster from your extra deck using fusion materials from your hand, and if it's in your graveyard, you can banish this card from your graveyard and spell summon one DD monster from your hand. Eater of Millions, cannot be normal summoned to a set, must be spell summoned from your hand by banishing 5 or more cards from your hand, field, and or extra deck face down, and gains 100 attack for each face down card banished. Cannot be tributed nor used as material for a fusion, synchro, or XYZ summon. Once per turn, at the start of the damage step, if this card battles an opponent's monster, you can banish that opponent's monster face down. So yeah, it's a pretty good card overall. Like, it deals with a lot of stuff on board. For example, even Crystal Wing, if you get 2 of these out, you can just swing into it. Am I mistaken in thinking that Eater of Millions can't be negated by Crystal Wing because it's in the damage step? Probably am. But anyhow, it probably says Yeah, it can definitely negate because trigger. It triggers anyway. Then we have Plague Spreader. Obviously, Plague Spreader is here for filler, but it's also a tuner, so it can be used for stuff like, well, honestly, anything other than Alexander. Then we have Glass Bell, which is one of the parts of the Windwitch engine, where Ice Spell summon, it can be summoned to an empty board, spell summoned, and then you can spell summon a Windwitch monster from your deck and burn your opponent for 500. You're now locked to wind monsters for the rest of this turn from your extra deck, and then you spell summon Glass Spell, which is the effect of if it's a normal summon or spell summon, you can add a Windwitch card from your deck to your hand. So you add Snowbell, and Snowbell has the effect of if you control 2 or more wind monsters and no non-wind monsters, you can spell summon it from your hand. But yeah, and then then Glass Spell also locks you into specifically wind monsters after you're summoned. Then we have Copernicus. We talked about Copernicus last time. Kepler, Thomas. Thomas allows you to... I think we didn't have this in the structure deck. You can target one DD card in your Pendulum Zone, destroy that card, and if you do spell summon on level 8 DD monster from deck in defense position, but for the rest of this turn, its effects, if any, are negated. And also any battle damage your opponent takes is halved. And the Pendulum effect is during your main phase, so you can add one face-up DD Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Then we have Oblivion King Abyss Ragnarok again. We talked about that last week. This is filler. I'm not even going to discuss it. I don't even know what it does. It's bad. Gate to add cards, Swamp King for fusions, Dark Hole for field nukes, Dark World Dealings, Fearless Burial, Fusion Recycling Plant. Once per turn, you can discard one card and add a Polymerization from your deck to your hand, or deck or graveyard to your hand. Once per turn, during the end phase, you can target one fusion a monster in your graveyard that was used as a fusion material for a fusion summon this turn and add it to your hand. I think actually playing polymerizations could be a good idea here as well, just to be able to actually use the discard effect, but anyhow. Monster Reborn from Ancient Gear Reborn, 3 MSC, 2 Terraforming, Ancient Gear Reborn for filler, Lost Wind for filler, but also useful filler. Target one face of special summon monster, and get its effects, also its original attack is halved, and if a monster spell summon from your opponent's extra deck while this card is in your graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field. Side deck is just a lot more copies of everything in the deck, and a 7 Sins, which requires 2 level 12 monsters for its summon. You can also exorcism this card by using a rank 10 or rank 11 Dark XYZ monster you control as material. Transfer its materials to this card. If it's summoned this way, the following effects cannot be activated this turn. Once per turn, you can detach 2 materials from this card, banish as many special summoned monsters your opponent controls as possible, then attach one of those special summoned banished monsters to this card as material. If this face-up card on the field would be destroyed by battle or card effect, you can detach 1 material from it instead. Then we have Beowulf, and then we have Gengish. 2 DD monsters. If another DD monster is spell summoned to your field while you control this monster, you can target one DD monster in the graveyard and spell summon it. Yeah. And then if this card is destroyed by an opponent's card effect, you can target one Dark Contract card in your graveyard and add it to your hand. This card is just generally the glue that holds this entire deck together, essentially, and it's something that I was sorely missing when I was playing it in the Structure Deck episode. King Dark, John the Arc essentially. Any effect that would inflict damage to you makes you gain that much LP instead. This card isn't particularly good, but it allows you to easily climb into stuff like Siegfried using Swirl Slime and also Lamia. And then we have Wave Oblivion King Kaiser Ragnarok, which is the big problem solver of this deck. Once per turn, when an attack is declared involving this card, you can target one other DD or Dark Contract card you control and return it to your hand. And if you do, equip one face-up card face-up monster your opponent controls to this card, except the battling monster. This card gains attack equal to that combat original attack of the monsters created to it by this effect. So yeah. Then we have Crystal Wing, obviously Siegfried. We talked about this last week. I think we talked about Alexander as well. If another DD monster is normal spell summon to your side of the field while you control this face card, you can target a level 4 or lower DD monster in your graveyard and spell summon it. Winterbell, this is just used as a portion of the Crystal Wing climb. It burns your opponent, it allows you to spell summon Wind Witches, doesn't matter. DDD, Duo, Dawn, King, Kali Yuga. I'm sure you people have seen this card. I'm sure you know what this card does. After this card is XYZ summoned for the rest of this turn, other cards and their effects cannot be activated on the field, and other cards' effects on the field are negated. Once per turn, quick effect, you can detach 1 material from this card, destroy all spell trap cards on the field. You can detach 1 material from this card, then target 1 Dark Contract spell trap in your graveyard and set that target. Then we have Wave King Kaisar, not High Wave King Kaisar quite yet. We talked about this last week. Zombie Stein, 2 level 8 dark monsters must be XYZ summoned. Once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this quick effect and send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. Then target 1 face-up card your opponent controls, change this card to defense position, and if you do, negate that monster's target card's effects until the end of this turn. Lancelot, level 8, Omni Negate, blah blah blah. A Harbinger, once per turn when a spell card is activated, you can negate that effect and attach it to this card. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, you can attach 1 material and change the target to this. And if an XYZ monster dies, if another XYZ monster you control is destroyed by a battle card effect, you can target 1 base XYZ monster card you control. It gains attack equal to that destroyed monster's original attack. And then we have Pain Gainer. You can also summon this using a rank 8, 9, or 10 Dark XYZ monster you control with 2 materials. Transfer its material to this card. Gains attack equal to the combined ranks of all XYZ monsters you control times 200. While this card is a material, each time your opponent activates spell trap cards, inflict 600 damage to your opponent. After it resolves. Once per turn, you can attach 1 material from this card. Destroy all face-up monsters your opponent controls with defense less than or equal to this card's. So, it's always going to have 2.2 thousand attack and defense, right? Oh, defense, sorry. And odds are it will also have a little bit more because you might have stuff like Wave King Kaisar or even maybe Kali Yuga on board. So you can make this thing pretty big and then you can climb into 7 sins using it. But I think this deck is overall a pretty cool one. I really like DDD, as is probably evident from me playing it 2 weeks in a row. And I'm hopeful that this goes well. Because I'm kind of worried about breaking with this deck since, I got 15 random cards in here, bro. But yeah, good luck with the games.
Ladies and lads, welcome back to History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey this time with Raging Tempest. And as for last time, I was so unenthusiastic about playing it all. This time, I am so stoked to be playing Raging Tempest. I feel like, in theory, my deck is very cool, but I did not do a single test hand because I feel like for the past how many times, every time I do a test hand, it just ends up being a fucking mistake. So this time I decided that we are not going to be doing that. But Jeexx, how are you feeling about Raging Tempest?
I'm very excited. You'll see why I'm excited.
That's awesome. I do see that you are not running a 60 card deck.
I'm not running a grass deck specifically because, as I said on stream, I think Weebfox is running grass, so I'm not gonna run grass because it would be fucking ass if I ran grass.
I appreciate it.
No,
but yeah.
Unfortunately, I'm not running 40 cards because it was fucking impossible.
That's fair. There's a lot of good stuff in here. But
that's not a lot.
Anywho, I think we're going to start with a special summon of Windwitch Icebell.
This looks familiar.
And I would like to burn you for 500 since it is special summoned. And then summon a Windwitch from my deck, if this is okay.
Yeah.
I will grab a...
Oh wait, no, you don't burn me first. You summon this first, and then after that, you resolve both of these.
Oh yeah,
at the
that
same
change
time.
it. Yeah,
So now you can activate Glass Spell, and then you can also burn me.
Gets me Snowball to my hand, but I would also like to summon outside Snowball. And then, yeah.
The main reason why I'm saying this is because you can use Glass Spell, and then you can use Ice Spell, and you can Chain Block Glass Spell, so I can Ash Blossom it.
Then I would like to... Oh yeah, I do need to... I would like to tune my Ice Bell with my Glass Bell, and we will summon out a Winter Bell. And then Winter Bell gets summoned. I would like to burn you for an additional 800 with Winter Bell's effect, since Glass Bell is in my grave. And then I would like to tune my Winter Bell with Snowbell to make, you never guess it, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, which cannot be destroyed by your card effects thanks to being summoned with Snowball.
Okay.
And I am windlocked for the turn, but I don't think there's another lock. So I kind of got the dream starter. I could have done this earlier, but I will instead be doing it here. I would like to activate that grass looks greener and mill 10 cards from my deck.
Yep.
And they got a pretty good peek on what I'm onto here. And I think this was for summons, right? So I'm just making sure. Spell summon monsters except wind monsters, but I mean, I don't need to do that though. Yeah, that's fine. I think we will just end on the Synchro Dragon. I do have enough water for this. Right? Yeah, these are all specials. And I don't care about this thing, right? Yeah. I'm gonna end on that.
Alrighty then, chat room. We're going to start off by banishing from our extra deck 5 cards face down.
Oh shit.
To special summon Eater of Millions.
There it is.
Dumb. And then, because I'm just gonna do this as a precaution of sorts, I would like to banish another 5 from my extra deck. That's face down, but whatever. I would like to summon Eater of Millions. They both have. This is supposed to be face down, but I can't. These both have 1,000 for each face down banish card.
Oh yeah,
Then I would like to activate from my hand terraforming to search to my hand a fusion recycling plant.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I would like to activate Dark Contract with the Swamp King. I would like to fuse using 2 cards from my hand. I would like to fuse using DD Chaos King Apocalypse and Necro Slime to summon out Dragon Bane King Beowulf.
Yep.
And then I would like to activate the effect of Swamp King to banish from my graveyard Chaos King Apocalypse, not Swamp King, Necro Slime to banish from my graveyard Necro Slime and Chaos King blah 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 to summon out Oracle King the Ark and end my game there.
Oh no. Wait, how did you, by the way, summon out 2 fusions?
What do you mean? I had Necro Slime.
Oh yeah, Necro Slime. Okay, gotcha. So you just wanted to flex on me, and then Jeexx did say earlier, like, if it doesn't like his hand, then he's just immediately gonna scoop, and so I did 15 cards. So was it just like you wanted to flex on me, and then it's like, all right, now let's go play the actual game?
Yeah. That was literally me just being like, I got a funny hand, I'm gonna play the funny hand.
I'll give it up. I mean, I got to do 2 of the 5 modes that my 6 modes that my deck has on my first turn, so I'll take it. But I also need a little bit for siding, so we'll take a small intermission.
All
right. You missed it when I just stopped recording, but Jeexx said then we can end it here when I said like I managed to do like 2 of my like 6 modes that my deck has. What do you mean by that, Jeexx?
I would like to special summon Windwitch Ice Spell, and I would like to activate the effect of Windwitch Ice Spell to special summon out from my deck to my hand a card, and then sorry, it's special summon.
Yeah, special summon.
You can special summon from your deck. Okay.
And then the other one, Glass Bell adds.
Wait, you can summon any of them?
Yeah.
Oh, that's kind of cool. I'll summon Ice Spell, and then I'll normal summon Glass Spell.
Okay.
Also, you take 500 damage, and then I'll activate the effect of Glass Bell, and add Crystal Bell to my hand.
Yep.
Not hand, but fuck it. Yeah. There we go. And then I shall synchro off my Ice Spell and my Glass Bell for you. You will never guess. You'll never guess.
What?
What?
I can't believe it.
No. Cannot believe this. And then I'll burn you for 800, and then I'll synchro these 2 off for a
Indestructible
crystal.
crystal. Damn, that's crazy.
And that's crazy. Wow.
That's awesome. Well,
TK me through this, it's fine.
Anyways, would you like to have a turtle instead?
Mm-hmm.
Then we will special summon.
Wow, you're so good at this video. Holy shit.
Thank you. We'll special summon now Terratop.
Yep.
And I will add to my hand a Speedroid. A monster, which is, if I can find it, a Attack Tomborg. Then we will special summon said Attack Tomborg. And now here's a thingy-majingy. I guess I could, but it doesn't do that much. Is my issue here. Fuck it. Let's go for a normal summon. The special summon except wind monsters for attack don't work. Yeah, okay. Let's go gambling. I would like to normal summon Decatron, and we will see the effect of Decatron, and we will pitch a. We'll pitch a. Do I want to pitch this? You say you can. Do I actually? Wait, you know what? I actually think instead I will elect to not use the effect. Since there are 2 wind monsters on the field, I would like to special summon Snowbell. And then, now unfortunately I can't make an indestructible Crystal Wing this time around, but we can still do something. So we will use all of these to make a Winter Bell. I would like to burn you for 200 points of damage. And then we will use these 2 to make a Crystal Wing. All of this praise about like, yeah, we're so excited to be playing this, and this time it's been a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon jerk off.
Isn't it cool? Isn't Yu-Gi-Oh really cool at this point in time?
It is so awesome, and I don't think
it's the best part of Yu-Gi-Oh! The part where your opponent just makes a Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon on their turn, and they just sit on it. And you're like, well, did I draw the out or not? And the answer is usually, I did not.
Yep. Unfortunately, yeah. And unfortunately, I just happen to be the greatest turtle drawer of all time. And then I would like to swing over a turtle for 3k.
Yep. That's actually not 3k. You gain as much attack as this thing has.
So 22, which means that it is 3k damage always.
Oh, you mean 3k? Oh, you mean 3,000 damage.
Yeah, yeah. Usually when I say like I swing for something, I'm saying the damage. I should have been maybe clearer, but yeah. When I say like I swing for something, usually I mean like how much damage it inflicts. My bad on that. And I think, yep, we will end on that. But yeah, Synchro Dragon is destructible by effects. If you have something for it.
Let's see. I would like to start off by...
Don't give me a turtle, man.
Using the effect of Swirl Slime, discarding Swirl Slime and Lamia to then special summon a card. Would you like... Actually, you can negate this if this isn't my... Would you like to negate the effect of Swirl Slime when I declare?
Even as a card from a confused summon, did push monster, it's a monster for a hand of fusion, including this card. I am good on that. You can go ahead.
Okay. Then. I would like to, Soil Slime using Lamia. And I would like to summon out a
GDDs.
I can summon this thing out. I can use that. I can make another one of those. I can't really use that. I can summon Genghis here. And then I would like to activate the effect of I can use this. Yeah, I would like to activate the effect of Swirl Slime, banishing it from graveyard to spell summon a DD monster from my hand. Is this okay?
Yeah, the summon is fine.
Okay. I would like to summon Necro Slime. Then I would like to activate the effect of Genghis to target a DD monster in my graveyard and special summon.
Okay, yeah, this gets you Lamia. So you can make a 7, 8, or 11. You haven't normaled yet. You have 1 card in your hand. I think this might be wrong, but I don't know DD that well. I think this is what I would like to negate. Yeah.
Yep. Thanks for playing.
GG's. Oh, Jeexx left the call. Oh, that is unfortunate. Oh, yeah. I mean, I can talk a little bit on my... Oh, welcome back.
Class outskilled.
Outclass and outskill. Yeah, the synchro...
What can you do?
Yeah.
When your opponent has just the right draws to play the game every time.
I remember...
Very unfortunate.
I don't remember what episode it was where, like, I got mad about, like, you always getting the right stuff in your hand, so I guess, like, the universe heard my pleas, and I was like, oh, you're playing a 60-card deck? Yeah, just draw the greatest hand every single time.
No, it's not even just the fact that you do Gamma Seal in this game. It's the fact that when you use Grass, you even got 2 of these fuckers. With 14 cards in your graveyard and 3 cards in your hand.
Yep.
Like, bro. It doesn't matter. Like, it's... At that point, just kill yourself.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's fucking... Why are you even playing the game at that point, bro? Just don't play. Just the guy won. It's over.
But yeah, so... It would take a long time. I've already explained all that stuff in the deck breakdown. I don't need to explain that stuff to you, but the reason why
I don't
was
think
very
any
excited
single
about
person needs to have this deck explained to them.
No, it was basically just the reason why I was like, I'm very excited about this is because it's a pile of literally like 6 different things all in one.
Oh my god. That's just every deck in this fucking of the game. You're playing Zoodiac with Terror Top and Windwitch package and a deck. Crazy. With grass. 3 of grass
And
at
that's
a time.
why it's sick.
The only thing in this that isn't legal at this time of the actual video game is the fact that you have like 3 copies of Monster Gate in here. Other than that, this deck is a completely legal deck from 2016.
Hell yeah. The fact that like I don't know, it's just so many different things in one, which I just thought was very neat. Musket was in my side. I sided out of whatever thing gave it to me. What gave it to me? I don't remember. But I sided out of like 7 cards that were mostly there to just give me different names. I had Future Fusion.
I sided out 15 cards because I couldn't play my deck if I didn't side out 15 cards.
So what's the latter idea was DD with Windwitch engine. What was the initial like desperation pile?
What do you mean?
What is it like you couldn't
literally play every single possible generic card that I could play from this set.
Mm-hmm.
And then terraforming 3 copies of MST, 3 copies of Plague Spreader. Plague Spreaders I kept in because they're tuners, they can actually be used for something.
Yeah.
Fusion Recycling Plants. And Eaters of Million. But Eaters of Millions are at least like cards that also have utility and they can be summoned in any situation, which means that I can actually use them for synchro.
Yeah.
But beyond that, it is self-evident.
Yeah. No Zoodiac appearances this time, but there will be another set where we'll most likely see those. And honestly, I don't know how many people would actually be sad if we didn't see Zoodiac do stuff. Oh yeah, some stuff in my hand.
Oh yeah, you had the full OTK.
I had everything like it
No,
in
no, no, no.
this
I
game.
I
I
mean
got
like you
everything.
literally had Barrage in your hand. Don't need any other card in the deck, by the way. Like as long as you draw Barrage and no Rapiers, or at least have 2 Rapiers in deck, you can just pretty much run over anything.
Yeah, here like it was literally like, do I go
So fun.
Barrage or do I go the other line? Because obviously I was windlocked, so I couldn't do stuff with
Wait,
Barrage
what do you mean you
afterwards.
were windlocked? You
Takeda
weren't.
Borg.
No, read the card.
Can I spell summon monster for the rest of the turn except wind monsters?
Read the card. It says if you use its second effect,
Oh,
which
it's
is
the tribute
tributed.
one, gotcha.
Yeah, like there's a reason why this card is in literally every single deck in this era. It's because you summon Terra Top, you summon this, you search this card, you summon this card, you make a rank 3. And
That's
you can
neat.
make any rank 3.
Yeah, then I
You
could
can
have
make
just
MX
gone for
Saber.
the Zodiac stuff as well.
Yeah, like that play is literally one of the de facto plays for this deck, where they go for Zoodiac deck, where you go Terra Top, Taganamborg, you overlay for MX Saber, you summon Rat Pier, and now you just do the play. You don't even need to have Barrage. You essentially have 6
was-
copies of Barrage at this time because you have Terra Top.
That
Although Terra
was
Top is a 1.
that was the one card that was like so desperately trying. I'm like, can I find a way to get MX Saber? But
There's
no,
none.
I just had
There is
Levier and Chronological Crystal Chrononaut.
Even Levier is like insane for this, specifically because the fact that you have access to snow. So depending on what you happen to roll into, you can really use Snow's effect to enable Levier to have like extended plays.
Oh,
Because you get rank 4 plays, it's fucking filthy.
I'm playing so many Infernoids too that just with those like Levier is good. I'm gonna banish a lot of stuff, so everything just came together for this stuff to work out. So pretty neat, pretty neat. Anyways, anything else here? Because, like I said, like basically everything that I have to talk about this, I'm talking about in my deck breakdown anyway. So I don't need to repeat myself here. But anything you wanna get off your chest?
No.
Gotcha. That's perfectly fine. Damn, 2 blowout episodes in a row. Hopefully we can restore. I mean, I say hopefully we can restore balance soon, but we have Machine Reactor versus Dinosaur Smasher's Fury in the very near future. So at least for that, like, that's not.
How many episodes is that?
3 or 4.
Okay. I'll just scoop every episode up until then, every time.
There's not much point to this series if we're not gonna actually play the games.
Oh, well, I'll play the games. I'll play my board.
Okay. So yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Last time I was not in a headspace to be playing these games, and I guess today Jeexx isn't. So there's no point in us.
I didn't get to play the deck in its actual state where you get to do the plays because my opponent drew literally the best possible thing he could have drawn.
Yes, I'm not saying I didn't,
Every time.
but that's what sometimes happens.
The one time I'm excited to play an actual deck, 2 weeks in a row, it's like, oh yes, I'm not gonna play this week because I don't care and I'm not going. Fuck, bro, you had so many plays. You had Sky Iris in hand, bro.
Yeah.
Bro. You had Chaos. Sure, I summoned Beowulf. That fucks it up. But like, just the fact that you can prevent me from banishing shit is already really strong. Whatever.
my brother in Christ, you can play the deck. I play my decks, you play yours, okay? We can do a third game if you wanna, but
No,
yeah,
I am
I
out
figured.
of here. I have things I need to do.
Yeah, and that's perfectly fine. And sometimes that's how Yu-Gi-Oh goes. But yeah, it just, I mean, we don't need to cover it here. There's no point in doing it on video. We'll talk about it later. But yeah, thank you for watching this extremely brief episode. It's actually pretty funny because I think the deck breakdowns are definitely gonna be longer than the actual match itself. But you know, that's how it be sometimes. Thank you for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you next time for, I don't remember now which set, but whatever it is, you will see it there. Actually, no, I can check. It is Fusion Forces. Fusion and Forces is gonna be next time. So we will see you then. Thank you for watching, and peace.